And his running mate is John Abdullahi Jinapo. He's a Christian from Gunja. He's a member of parliament, minister for energy, former deputy minister for energy, now minister for energy, former spokesperson of Vice President John Dramani Mahama. So you know they have an excellent and very close relationship. They call him JJ in parliament, and he's the deal. The two of them are the president's tickets. Forget about everything else. This is the president's ticket. Atuforse number 1 and John Jinapo number 2. Let's roll on to some of the other new tickets that are coming into the NDC conversation. What's next for us? Let's move on to the next one. I know this one. This one people know. Let's move to the next by naming running mates. So if I go back here, you will see that the president's tickets has a running mate already sorted. Tickets. And Lordina is happy to back Eric Opoku. They think that he's a calm guy. He doesn't antagonize anybody. He's a real politician. He distinguishes himself as minister. He was a minister for Works and Housing the other time. No issues of corruption. He's a minister. He has a wound. What is the wound? His wound is that the eternal general secretary of the party, his very, very close friend, the grounds is that Okujeto Ablakwa believes that he birthed the vision of Professor Jenano.
Abusia on the 10th month mu ene we nyame yaduma wochina ye 1st November, that is ye rather 11th month ya NDC for eba power na abusia enkomo ya ekoso e media na so hu from any politicians are aiding common social media agudi ya ekoso ni nyina no who is to become the next flag bearer edema NDC amanyeku as time wa ye mampeni John Dramani Mahama am making it clear say enya ade a wo besan akotetem bia wo wie sa tem we ya we one premium na ena magana for HSS ye share asumdua e wo party ni mu ye hwe enkambo mu ene se ne party no ahoden esifa na ye compare to NPP a ne ekoso e wo NPP amanyoko no mu enne no ni nyina e ye flag bearership race content a ekoso eno ka mo bi ena ama party no atete se kontebe ya ekoso nti Ghana for ebisa se aso se NDC so ekoba ne se ye kopɛ flag bearer eno so ebetimi ama ne ekoso wo NPP party ebetimi esi e wo NDC party no na se me no e ka say Paul Adom Ochre e di names bi abeto montene so a watch say sa names no and your favorite names are your man penin John Dramani Mahama prefer say oni ho a obeba be taking in legacy no ebusia hodwiri sam ne say edin Paul Adom Ochre boy no yante Johnson Aseidu Nketiah wom Julius Debra edin amam Sami Jemfin so edin amam na ebusia edin a boy no edin a Atofolsen ena edika Paul Adom Ochre say Atofolsen ena senya wo ba ye ni nyuma na ade titia eze se ne was stabilize dollar no cedi no ede amayen na se ne economy no ekona ye mampeni John Dramani Mahama ni agene ho ye para busanya no kwa wo sign ebodin a wo no eye running mate a wo tre se sa nkofre mienu ena ye mampeni John Dramani Mahama tre se wo no anase omumienu ena wo endorse wo ede ama NDC amanyoko ne busanya me nkotie Paul Adom Ochre na ye ba ye be de atwe nkomo
Kesel Atuforsen, the finance minister. So when he comes to present the budget next week, 2 weeks from now, watch his body language. He's been told that if he's able to continue to do what he's doing until the end of next year, he will be the anointed inheritance holder of the President Mahama NDC leadership legacy. Who is going to be his running mate? The other favorite of John Dramani Mahama, our good friend John Jinapo, member of parliament and minister for energy. The two ways that the NDC would like to say they've been doing well in government so far, one of them will be energy and the other will be finance. In finance, there's disputed opinion about recently the government didn't get a threshold on the treasury bill, local treasury bill markets, and some opponents of the government were saying there's an indication that there's no confidence, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you say, Atuforsen will tell you that the CD was 17, it is 10, it's a feather in his cap. Atuforsen will tell you that gold reserves have gone here, it's a feather in his cap. Atuforsen will tell you that petroleum prices have been stabilized, it's a feather in his cap. Don't ask him about the price of kinky. Don't ask him about the price of bread. Don't ask him about the price of biscuits. He doesn't know. But he has major macro indicators to point out to you that he's done well. And the analyzing institutions, Fitch and all of these people are giving Ghana B+ and all of that. So yes, Kesel Atuforsen is firmly focused on becoming the leader of the NDC, the presidential candidate of the NDC going forward to the 2028 election. And his running mate is John Abdullahi Jinapo. He's a Christian from Gunja. He's a member of parliament, minister for energy, former deputy minister for energy, now minister for energy, former spokesperson of Vice President John Dramani Mahama. So you know they have an excellent and very close relationship. They call him JJ in parliament, and he's the deal. The two of them are the president's tickets. Forget about everything else. This is the president's ticket. Atuforsen number 1 and John Jinapo number 2. Let's roll on to some of the other new tickets that are coming into the NDC conversation. What's next for us? Let's move on to the next one. I know this one. This one people know. Let's move to the next one. I'll come back to this in a minute. Now, I'll still come back to this in a minute. The other one, yes, this is the other one. So there's a growing conversation among NDC cadres. I don't know where the cadres still stand in the NDC conversation. 25 years ago, the cadres were very strong. But over the last 10 years, I don't know where the cadre thing goes. I mean, many of the cadres have sort of stepped aside. Martin Amidu is a bit old now. He's in his house and he's one of the important cadres. He's not as active as he used to be. But the cadre group who want to resurrect the cadre situation because they believe that the cadre thing is anti-corruption, the cadre thing is a wee-wee situation, the cadre thing is proper socialism, almost communism, and that's the only way the NDC can keep its difference from the MPP. The cadre group are still very concerned that the NDC looks too much like the MPP, and Rawlings used to talk about that if you remember, that the NDC is looking too much like the MPP, that the MPP are a right-wing political party, let them look like how they look like, and the NDC must look very different. NDC should not have the kind of scandals MPP have. If MPP are sharing money somewhere, you shouldn't find NDC people doing the same thing. That group of people who believe that the longevity of the NDC will be preserved by returning to the principles of cadre, probity, accountability, transparency, that group of people are beginning the conversation, what about Guzi Tano? So, now I work for Guzi Tano. I was his publicist in the year 2000 when he did the Reform Party. So I was with him almost on a daily basis, and I was a publicist. What does that mean? So I published their stories. You know, they were a small political party. So I had to take permission from my news editor at Joy FM that I would like to be bringing reform stories. They laughed at me and they said, okay, why not? And so Guzi had two offices, one in Asylum Down. Those of you who live in Accra, I can show you the place near Gedeli's office. And there was another one in Ridge, North Ridge, where Wellspace used to be. His brother was MD of Wellspace at the time, so we meet there. And the sheer level of intellectual conversation of these guys, I mean, if you're young as I was at that time, you should consider yourself privileged to be in that kind of conversation. You should hear Guzi having a conversation about governance with Peter Podube. Oh my goodness, these guys were smart. I was so excited when I met with them and when I engaged with them, and I was excited about the future of the country. Cheche Opoku is one brilliant guy. Forget about law. Cheche knows everything, not just law. Mijay Bano. I mean, they were really, really solid guys. Sam Gaba was with them. I think the generation is gone. The election 2000 didn't help them. Professor Mills brought them back to the NDC. They played a big role in Professor Mills' victory, and I believe that they have played a big role in President Mahama's victory in 2016 as well. Guzi has to overcome the 24-hour economy situation. We must see the 24-hour economy thrive. I'm not sure whether we're going to see that in the first 4 years of President Mahama's administration. I was listening to Nimoy Thompson on the Bernard Avle's show, the Point of View, and he was talking about how 24-hour economy is already captured in the NDP's agenda, etc., etc. Very, very, very interesting interview. I like that interview when I saw it on Monday night, I think. Now, Guzi here is now being pushed to be the NDC flag bearer. And the NDC people are being told that if you really want to go back to be NDC so that you're not like MPP and you're going to be booted out of office one day like the MPP was booted out of office, and you want to continue to do the things MPP did so that you end up the way MPP ended up, then it's up to you. But if you want to come to the principles and the ethos of the National Democratic Congress, your best man is Augustus Tano. So that's a concern. Mahama is not against the ticket, but it is not his favorite ticket. His favorite ticket will show you what it is. So the Guzi one is coming. We're just building up the story. We'll be giving you the inside details. They call me to tell me, you know, Adam, you there? Then they give me the filler. So, okay. Now, this is the other ticket that we talked about. The Julius Debra ticket has always been there. It's always been there. And it's a formidable ticket. Now, the tickets are gaining support by naming running mates. So if I go back here, you will see that the president's ticket has a running mate already sorted. So it is easier to sell to the party folks when you are saying, this is going as number one, this is number two. It makes people feel that, oh yeah, that's a good ticket. We like it. It's great. It's, you know, I think that, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but over the last few years of our election cycles, the position of the running mate has become very important. It didn't used to be as important. I mean, in 2000, people have forgotten who was Professor Mills' running mate. It was Martin Amidu. In 2004, people have forgotten who was Professor Mills' running mate. It was Mohammed Mumuni. So the running mate thing was not a big deal. It was the Nana Akufo-Addo choice of Mahamadou Bawumia that brought the running mate thing to the big conversation. If you read our book here, the way in which Kufuor chose his running mate, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, it was very simple. It was a very simple conversation. Aliyu was set up as a committee chairman to find a running mate for Kufuor. Find, he couldn't find. General Hamidu got his running mate agenda busted on Joy FM by Tony Edu, whose video we showed you recently, and I think I'll get that video for you soon. And so when Hamidu left, Aliyu Mahama was left with a few weeks to get a running mate, you know. And then Kufuor said, what about you, Alhaji? Blah, blah, blah. And then he became. So the running mate was not that detailed. But now it has become very, very important on our tickets. We're almost becoming like the United States. You know, how Walter Mondale became running mates to, was it George Bush? It was a very complicated, long, drawn-out conversation in American Republican Party politics over there. So people are now putting the running mate forward so that you can get a sense of where the ticket is going. So that's the president ticket. Now here, so the Julius Debra people are beginning to craft a running mate for Wafa Julius. And guess what they are talking about? They are talking about Senator Rawlings. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That no, we are going with Julius, and Julius will pick Zaneto for the running mate. So guys, Charlie, let's come and rally behind this. This is a young ticket. It's vibrant. It's sexy. It's beautiful. And I can assure you, most of the arts and entertainment people who helped the NDC to win the 2024 elections are on this ticket. So talk of Fred Nyama, Kofi Ocho-Dako, all of them, all the musicians, everybody who helped the NDC from the arts and entertainment side, Jifa Danku, blah, blah, blah. Is that your name? Abena Danku or something? Yes, see. All of those people are on the Julius ticket. And all of them are excited about the Dr. Rollins running mate. That's a sexy ticket. We're going to go on a walk. And we're going to be holding dumbbells. And we're going to sing from victory on to. Everybody's holding a dumbbell. And it's going to be nice. I mean, God give us life over the next 3 years. Ghana is going to be very beautiful. If you're a political reporter, you are in the best business. Okay. My producer wants me to move on. That's why he's put Eric Opoku there. So Eric Opoku has always been the other ticket. Okay. Now, Eric Opoku is formidable because he has gravitas. He's on the ground. He has gravitas. He's Minister for Agriculture, so don't write Minister of Agriculture off. Don't write them off. Eric Opoku is formidable to the extent that she has full backing from the First Lady, Lordina Mahama. This is Lordina Mahama's ticket. That's Eric Opoku. That's Lordina's ticket. And Lordina is happy to back Eric Opoku. They think that he's a calm guy. He doesn't antagonize anybody. He's a real politician. He distinguishes himself as minister. He was a minister for Works and Housing the other time. No issues of corruption. He's a minister who focuses on his work. That's Eric Opoku. So he also is in the race. Now bring Jenan Opoku-Agyeman. Let's deal with it. Okay. Now, the Jenan Opoku-Agyeman ticket it's getting long. I don't know how we'll break it down. Anyway, the Jenan Opoku-Agyeman ticket has an interesting twist to it. It is a ticket that is marshaled by Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. Now, people don't know Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo that well. Now, I had studied Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo since 1997 when he was a student in Accra Poly. I had friends there, so I'll go there and I observed the way he was marshalling people to support the NDC ticket. At that time, he was a parliamentary candidate. And he defeated some heavyweights. I think it was Professor Adofenin. Professor Adofenin was the head of history department at the University of Ghana. Powerful guy. And he was running at Fantiakwa for the New Patriotic Party. Fantiakwa is a seat that was held by Jones Oforiatta. Oh, bring back, I'm not done. Fantiakwa was a seat that was held by Jones Oforiatta, a stalwart of the MPP. And then this was Adofenin contesting for Fantiakwa with a young man Ofosu-Ampofo who defeated Adofenin, and everybody was surprised. So Ofosu-Ampofo is a very powerful political actor, but he also understands that you can have enemies in your own party. Why do I say that? I say that because I believe it's 2012. Ofosu-Ampofo was contesting parliament, not in Fantiakwa, but in Tema. And he was running against Irene Natoshi. Oh my goodness, I wish they had Irene Natoshi's photograph. They'll put it on. Irene Natoshi is the kind of politician that has support in both NDC and MPP. She's an MPP woman, but she has such massive support in NDC, you can't understand it. Irene Natoshi is a real big deal when it comes to grassroots politics. I know her because we lived in the same neighborhood in Sakumon. I visit her all the time and I see the political operations that she conducts. Never underestimate that lady. Irene Natoshi is a powerful political operator. You can think of Irene Natoshi as a John Boydu or anything else. Forget about the fact that she's a woman and she's a nice, distinguished lawyer and all of that. When it comes to the grassroots politics, you can't put Irene away. Irene secured some support from important NDC people to defeat Ofosu-Ampofo in the Tema constituency in the 2012 election and was elected to parliament. Ofosu-Ampofo was not elected to parliament, even though the NDC won the election. Ofosu-Ampofo at that time was Minister for Local Government. And he was running as one constituency as Minister for Local Government. Irene Natoshi was a young woman coming into politics and defeated him with the support of key NDC people. Some of them are still alive, so I don't want to mention their names. Very, very powerful NDC people supported Irene Natoshi to defeat Ofosu-Ampofo in 2012 in Tema. I was there. Now, Ofosu-Ampofo is coming back to marshal the campaign of Professor Jenan Opoku-Agyeman. And you can't underestimate that. Ofosu-Ampofo is also angry. He has a wound. What is the wound? His wound is that the eternal general secretary of the party, his very, very close friend, Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, took out a form to challenge him as chairman. Not just challenge him, but Aseidu Nketiah actually defeated him. That's a wound Ofosu-Ampofo carries. Wounds are carried by people for the longest time. I mean, Ronald Reagan and people carry their political wounds for a long time in Ghana. We know the political wounds that people carry. So he carries that political wound. Okay. He is determined that Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, having upstaged him as the chairman of the party, should not and should never become the leader of the party. For that reason, Ofosu-Ampofo believes that the best choice for leadership is Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. So that is a big deal, and we can't underestimate that. Is that the president's ticket? The president is not against it, but it's okay. It's a political contest, and it's going to happen. The chief of staff is in the office of the president, working for the president and the vice president. He's going to contest. The vice president is going to contest. Guzitano and his group are going to make their statements. I'm not sure whether they're going to make such a major inroad, but they're going to make an important statement. And the president's ticket is now K. Salato Forsen and John Jinapo. Let's come to this other story. There's a big fight between Education Minister Idrisu Haruna, and Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. The fight is happening on many grounds, but one of the grounds is that Okudzeto Ablakwa believes that he birthed the vision of Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman as a president, and you can't take that away from him. He was deputy minister to Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman in the first John Mahama incarnation as president, and he worked with Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman quite a bit. And in those days, Ablakwa began to think that this very brilliant woman should actually become president. She should be president. She can be our first female president. So when and Ablakwa is also a product of the Ahoys. Especially Ato. Ablakwa is a product of Ato Ahoy. I mean, if you read my book, it's there. Babies with Sharp Teeth is there. All the accounts is there. When Ato Ahoy hired them to attack Rawlings, all of that. Ablakwa was a leader in that circumstance. So Ablakwa is a product of the Ahoys. Professor Jane is also a product of the Ahoys. So Ablakwa genuinely believes so, and there are people who think like that. You can't begrudge them for thinking so. The former vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Why not president? But no problem. But he is beginning to feel that education minister is not part of this agenda. Then suddenly he's trying to behave like he's taking center stage of it so that he'll become running mate. That and other matters are generating serious tension between Idrisu Haruna and Okudzeto Ablakwa, Foreign Affairs Minister. The Vice President is in the middle. We'll see how that goes. These are just the beginning of the story, so I have the loaded one that is coming. I'll share them with you. It's past 10 o'clock now. I'll share them.
Entebusia Paula Dumotre Semono ena yedi akwa potuja na Ghana for HSA any way no kame se any ase abrewu na ude wotu ebusia te Paula Dumotre Semono ena yakwa kuti abanawe Ghana for HSA asa wayare na ohwato wo no nwane ye ne momotu wo no ena ede asheda se NDC fo no se ne bobobei sa na bekore dia ene ne yehu no MPP party no sa bi ena ye behu ewo NDC party fi se bi kire se Johnson Aseidu Nketiah ne di amam na mo wan ye pa fi se wono no eye obi a wetimi abo ne homoden akonkoden ede ama NDC party no ti se kebraso se we mampeni John Mahama ede na djuma ba na obi ebe succeed na aka Johnson Aseidu Nketiah enye nipa yebeyi no ede na frame saa so ebi so HSA Julius Debra so ebo no homodi ye pa wono so party fo no ebo je no so eti se Julius Debra so din entimi MPM ewo list mu dia na emu eye remabusia mesese won so odi wadwenkyere ebeja ewo comment section ho ede amame eye too much gh all the social media handles okoho eye too much gh o subscribe no like no wa share na afofo so enye bia hwemedin ede dark good ebesensia